Okay, we're live. Welcome, everyone. I'm Christine, and we're talking about empowered women in business. So, if you're an empowered woman in business, or if you're in business and you want to be empowered, I started this podcast, or I started Empowered Women in Business, because I noticed that women were not having their voices heard, and then they wanted to step up and step into their power and be heard. So that's why I called it Empowered Women in Business. And I've been doing these podcasts for over 2 years now, with women sharing their story so that you might gain some nuggets of knowledge. There might be somebody that you want to connect with. And I know that some of the women have connected with others who are listening and actually gone on to create business themselves. So today I have Antoinette, and Antoinette is
Hi,
here.
hi everyone.
Yeah, Antoinette is here. She helps me publish my carers book, and I usually have one right here, but I can't find it right now. The carers journey. So, and it
Yes,
was that was a journey in itself, and bringing all the carers together. But we got a lot out of that book. So it's great to have Antoinette on here today because she helps people get their stories out. So welcome, Antoinette.
yeah, thank you. Thanks, Christine. And yeah, I was very honoured to help you self-publish your beautiful, inspirational book. It was very much an honour to work with you and all the other authors. Yeah, so my business is We Inspire Now Books, and as Christine said, I actually help authors self-publish their books, get their stories out there, especially their motivational stories. That's what my business is focused on, whether it's children's books or adult books. Um, how I got here, I didn't actually intend to become someone who actually helped people publish books. I actually set up my business to self-publish my own books. So I'm an author. I've got 6 published books.
Wow, that's more than
Yeah,
me.
and and when I started, of course, I had no idea how to get a book published. It was a difficult journey. I approached so many different publishers, and some of them were asking ridiculous amounts of money, and it was all difficult. And finally, I came across a company that sort of I thought I could work with, and I did my first 2 books through them. But then I thought, you know what? I think I can do this process as myself. I got very involved in the publishing process. So yeah, so I started We Inspire Now Books and published all of my other books, children's books and anthologies. I created an anthology series, We Inspire Now, published 4 of those. And then people started asking me to help them publish their books. And so I actually started, and that's how my business came about. And, I feel so honored to actually help people because, like I said, I think we've all got a story to tell. But even more than that, I found the writing process in itself very healing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you found that, Christine, when you were writing your stories, but it's a very healing process. I sometimes jokingly say with my authors that you haven't cried, you haven't quite got there with your story.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so, and if it is healing for the author, it's inspirational for the reader.
Yeah.
And I've had incredible feedback from my anthologies about how, people resonated with the stories and they saw their own lives in the stories that people had shared, that they've helped heal aspects of their lives. So that's, I think, a very powerful thing to do, to actually help people become inspired, to get your story out there and to help others, in their healing journey and their own journeys.
So we've got
So
somebody watching. So welcome being on our live stream, and drop us a comment so that we know who you are. We'd love to hear your questions. We can answer them live while we're on the podcast, on the
yeah.
vidcast. But we'd love to know who you are. We really appreciate you watching us. So, what was the thing that made you publish your first book? Like, what was the inspiration about that?
Inspiration. I guess the first book, called Your Thoughts Matter, it was probably 20 years in the making, really. It was. It started with my own spiritual journey. I was an atheist when I was 15. My view was, you're born, you die, that's it. You know, I rejected religion. I, sort of was adamant there was nothing out there. But in my 30s, I started to have, I guess you'd call it, a spiritual awakening. I read avidly, and I became very interested in not just spiritual experiences, but the importance of thoughts as well for our health and well-being, and how they really do manifest, the things in our lives. And linked in with that, I actually went to it took me to quantum physics, because, as I said, I was a skeptic. So when I started having all these spiritual experiences, I thought, well, I'm either going mad or it's the way things are. And so that took me to science, actually. So I started reading science books. I started reading books on biology, on quantum physics. And I started to see a
Wow.
correlation.
From religion, atheism to
I
quantum physics.
know, I know. So it was an incredible journey. So what I started to see, especially in quantum physics, was that the things that I was learning about in spirituality was actually reflected and correlated with what I was reading about in quantum physics and the way the world is. So I became very interested in all of that, and I was inspired to write. So that's what Your Thoughts Matter came about. But that was a journey in itself, because when I initially wrote it, I actually got it published in 2006. Excuse me. And of course, I didn't know how to publish a book, and I found a publisher who said that he would help me. But he didn't really help me. He did publish the book, but he took it over, and he kind of did it the way he wanted to do it, and it didn't feel right to me. So I put it at the bottom of my cupboard, and I vowed one day that I would redo it. And that one day was 11 years later. So I guess another part of my message is never give up on your dreams,
Yeah.
no matter how long it takes, because, you only really, no, there's no such thing as failure. If you keep going and, keep trying, and just, every day kind of do something towards your goals, you'll get there. So that's another important thing that I learned.
Even if you put it down and pick it up later on, like that's all right.
Yeah.
No matter what's happened in between, but like you said, you put it in the bottom of the wardrobe, then picked it up again.
Oh, that's right. And like when I said one day I'll redo it, I didn't realize that it was going to take 11 years, but it did. But that doesn't matter. So I was able to republish that in 2017, and I published an anthology. Affirmation cards to go with it, as well as a journal. And that's where my journey towards being a published author and helping others self-publish started, I guess.
And can you still get the copy of the cards today?
Yeah, you can. I've got. Did you want to see them? I've got them just here. So.
Oh, if you want to grab them, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just grab some. There. These are a copy of the cards. And I've taken the photograph. They all have. So basically, the cards, the journal, and the book all have the same corresponding affirmations and reflections. So see, these are some of the photos I've got in the cards. And in the book, you can read the chapter corresponding to the cards. Oh, and in the journal, you can actually write, your thoughts and feelings about what you read. Or, you can sort of start with picking a card for the day, read the chapter, and write your reflections in the journal. I guess that was my inspiration for doing those two things.
And that's helped people?
Oh, it has definitely. Like I said, the feedback I've got has been incredible, that it's made a difference to their lives and helped them achieve their own goals. And from this, I've actually developed workshops as well.
All right.
Yeah. So, and I did quite a few of them before COVID, and I'm going back into doing some workshops and things from, moving forward. Yeah.
So you also run a group for women, don't you?
Yeah, I do. It's called Conscious Women Connect, and it's a great group. It's basically like-minded women. We come together once a month socially, But it gives us an opportunity to talk about, whatever we want. It's a great supportive group. And then once a quarter, I run a holistic development group where we look more in depth at various either mind, body, spirit topics.
So you're publishing books and also
Yeah,
helping women to connect with their consciousness and their mind and their thoughts.
yeah, and then helping other people publish their motivational books.
So
And
you've
the
published
post,
you published 6 books yourself.
yeah, that's right.
So are they multi-author books or are they all
Um, uh,
anthologies?
two of them are my own books. So Your Thoughts Matter and Sandcastles, which is a children's story. And that was inspired by a metaphor I used in Your Thoughts Matter. So the metaphor I used to talk about how we're all individuals. Yeah, we're all connected to each other and to the world around us. So I use the metaphor of sand and sandcastles.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And that's where the book Sandcastles came about. So so it's just a children's book, and it's all about how we're all unique, but we're all connected. We're all connected to each other. We're connected to the world around us. We're connected to all things, and that brings in aspects of quantum physics, basically,
And
into
then
that.
you've
It's
published
not.
anthologies. How many have you published in total? Is that 6 in total or I mean,
4 anthologies in total, so there's 6 altogether. So the anthologies, the first one's called Live Your Truth. And I was really honoured. I actually had one of the authors who wrote in that was 96 years old.
oh wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I think he's battling for a century. He's now passed, but he was so inspirational. It was wonderful, working with him to develop his chapter. He was amazing. He was amazing. So, it's been an honor working with the authors to put these together. So my second book was A Message to Your Younger Self.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I found that incredibly healing
Yeah.
process. So did many of the authors. They really felt that, they were able to revisit things that happened in the past and
Yeah.
look at it from a different perspective. And like I had others, like clients who I've had, who I shared the book with them, and they would start reading and then put it down and tell me about their story and what they would say to their younger self.
So there's
So
so many books out there that can be written. So many people have a story. I mean, for
yeah,
my journey, I wrote the Not Just Imogen's Mother, and then I had the idea to bring carers together, and I didn't do anything with it for 7 years. I
yeah,
mean,
there you go.
you waited 11 years. I didn't do anything with it for 7 years. And
Yeah,
then my best friend passed away, who was, I always imagined would be in the book. And then I went, what am I waiting for? So if
yes,
you're out there and you've got a story, what are you waiting for? Don't
yeah,
wait till it's too late. I mean,
no,
times past, we put these things down, but it's never too late to be now. It's never,
no,
but don't wait like I did and miss out on that opportunity to have my friend's story in the book. So, if you're listening, Antoinette, I'll connect Antoinette, tag her in the podcast, and maybe
yeah,
you can connect with her if you've got an idea for a book, or if you think you might be able to write a book, or if you just, you might want to be part of an anthology, maybe even,
yeah,
or maybe you have an idea for an anthology. That was the thing for me. Like writing my book was one thing, but putting together the anthology, the group of carers, I always thought, oh, that's going to be too hard. That'll never happen. Bring people together. But Antoinette was really good in
yeah,
going along for that journey and bringing that together. I don't know that, I could have done it with other publishers. So, that self-publishing with Antoinette, I don't feel like it was self-publishing. It was Antoinette publishing and I brought them together. So I
yeah,
think, if you have an idea, then, have a chat to Antoinette.
yeah. Because like I said, I think that we all have stories to tell that can be inspirational for others, and it's really important to get it out there. If you want to get it out there, do that. And one of the things I focus on is providing a quality book, but also affordable, because that's one
Yeah.
of the issues that that I encountered, that sometimes it was so expensive that it was just out of reach.
Yeah.
But, I would try to make it affordable so that we can get our message out there.
So that's what it was for me. Like it had to be affordable and to be able to bring those carers together. And the thing that I
Yeah.
wanted out of it, out of the first book that I got, was to share my story. And it gives you credibility when you've got a book, when you can go, this is my
Oh,
story. And people go, oh,
absolutely.
you're an
Yeah.
author. And it
Yeah.
has given me the opportunity to speak. This book has given me the opportunity to speak, in forums and, give presentations. But it's also brought the carers together. I wanted them to have that experience, to be able to step on a platform and share their story. So it's given them that experience as well. So highly recommend connecting with Antoinette if you've got a story, if you've got a, passion that you want to
Yeah,
share.
absolutely, absolutely. And I found that so many of the authors who shared, their story in a chapter have now gone on to write their own books,
Yeah.
which is really wonderful, wonderful to see. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least
So,
two of the authors in the carer's journey have written subsequent books.
yeah, there you go. You get the writing bug, and then you go, and I think it's a great way to start. Just writing one chapter is much more achievable than, if you're just starting out, than writing a whole book.
Absolutely, totally agree. But the other thing is that people say, oh, I've got a book and you can just write it, but it's not that easy. So I'd
No.
highly recommend chatting to Antoinette, because there's things like getting everything down on paper, then there's editing it. And I know that, when you read it back yourself, you can't see the things that you can't see. And then
That's
there's the layout, and then there's the printing.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of steps to it, and and that's one of the things I do. Like I will just when you read it, it's not just about accepting what's written. It's like, can you go deeper there? I ask questions. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? So to get that to go deeper and to really explore, the aspects of your life.
But it wasn't just about going deeper with the carer's journey. It was about having that consistency. And for
Yeah,
me, like it's hard to, it's like sort of trying to look at your back.
yeah, yeah.
To have somebody else to cast an eye over it, that was really important.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I was very honoured to help you. And I think it's a wonderful book. So it's just truly inspirational. So,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was. And we had the great book launch, and so many people said, oh, that was great. We didn't realize how it was. And the carers themselves got a lot out of it. And yeah, it was a great journey to walk together.
yeah, yeah. It's great. Yeah. So, yeah. So if anyone has a book out there that they're interested in publishing, give me a call. If you do, I've also got a free guide that I'm giving out to people, if they're interested. A free guide on writing their anthology and our memoir.
Yeah, because it's not so easy, like we said.
No, not so
Yeah.
easy.
And you've got a little visitor there sharing the screen.
Oh,
Puss
oh
puss.
yes, my cat. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, he
thanks for
always
being on
is
today.
around.
Thanks for sharing your story and your journey. And
Oh,
yeah,
thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, Christine. It was great.
yeah. So if you have a book in your head and you want to get it out, then I suggest you connect with Antoinette. But thanks for being on. So
Yeah.
thanks.
All right. Thanks so much. Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.